Tonight we're talking about, are you signing up for misery and you don't even know it? So I did a post on Sunday on Instagram and also on Facebook with the same title, right? It was probably about 50 seconds, maybe 55 seconds. And I want to go into that a little bit deeper about what I meant by that video. So if you missed it, you can go on my Facebook timeline. Might be easier to go to my Instagram and just go to the Reels and you can watch that from Sunday. But are you signing up for misery and you don't know it? Connect with me here. Also connect with me on Clubhouse every Sunday at 5 p.m. This Sunday we are talking about our women over 35 stuck. It's a safe space. We're just going to have a dialogue, hopefully some tips, collaborate, and just kind of vibe a little bit off of this platform. So hope to see you there. If you're on Clubhouse, just do a search for Chareseljosie, scroll all the way down to the Grown Woman Talk, and then we'll have that discussion. All right. So come on in, ping some folks. Hey, come on in, ping some folks. If you're catching the replay, #replay. I don't know if people do that anymore. I don't see it, but if you do it, let me know. If not, click a like, click a share if this kind of resonates with you. But I want you to know if you are creating your own misery. So I want to be clear about one thing before I get started. When I work with women and grown women and just people in general, this isn't a blaming thing. I'm always about gaining insight. I want you to look at things that maybe you have not considered in the past. Maybe that's something that you haven't really noticed. So that's what this is about. So never about blaming or you're at fault, but I do want you to see how you can look at things different, because if we shift our mindset, then we can shift our interactions, shift our behaviors, and then it shifts our outcome. Right? But we have to start with the mindset first. We need to notice some patterns first. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. And we're going to look at some things that maybe you have not noticed. All right. So let me know if I'm wrong. You can drop it in the comments, something that I missed. But things that we want. Who's the we? The grown woman, right? These are women who have been through some things. We've accomplished a lot of things. And as we kind of move through life and we move through things, there's a few things that we want, right? We want peace. We want information, we want less stress, and we want transformation, right? Peace, information, less stress, and transformation, right? That's the age round that we're in, right? We want to shift some things. We're in a different phase of life, and we're in the living phase of life, right? Your earlier stage of life, you're in the building, you're in the learning, you're in the foundation. When you get into your 30s and 40s, you are in the living stage of life. You want transformation now. You say, I've done the work. Now I want the transformation. This is where I come in at, right? So we contribute to our own stress because we want the things that I just mentioned very bad. We want the peace, right? We want the information. We want to feel less stress. We want the transformation. We want to learn new things. We want to challenge ourselves. And because we want it so bad, what happens that we don't realize is that we start doing things kind of by any means necessary to get that stuff, right? How do I get peace? I could probably add love in here, right? We want love. Right? We want acceptance. We want all these things. And it's like, how do I get these things? And sometimes we get this, I've accomplished so much. So it's all of a sudden there's a sense of urgency to get things. And this is how we miss the patterns. This is how we miss those things that maybe are important to us so that we can actually achieve what we want instead of going in circles. Right? So here are just some ways that we do this. And I'm saying I've done it before. I've done it. Right? So I'm not excluding myself. This is some ways that we've done before. Sometimes we ask unnecessary questions, right? How do we cause our own misery? Is because we ask unnecessary questions. So I tell people, whenever you ask a question, think about the answer first. So here's a fun example. So I leave work and I have a colleague and I'm leaving. I got all my stuff, you hear the keys rattling, my door shut, all my bags, and I'll say bye. And she'll look at me faithfully every time, every day. Are you leaving? And so I look at myself, look at my stuff, keys in my hand. It's the end of the day, And I was like, yeah. But eventually, when she kept asking, when I tell you faithful, I mean faithfully every day. I would say bye, and she would say, are you leaving? I clearly look the part. I look like I am leaving. So finally I asked her, I said, is that a real question or is that a conversation starter? And she said, I guess it's a conversation starter, right? She asked an unnecessary question. Obviously, I'm leaving. But if you wanted to say something, say whatever you want to say other than ask the question, are you leaving? Right? She still does it. And it's cool because that's just her personality and she's very sweet. But here's some other ways we ask unnecessary questions. Are you going to help take care of your child? That's another deeper question, right? And I hear it a lot in my full-time job because I work with people, domestic violence and those types of things. And a lot of those cases are people where relationships are ending. They're getting divorced or maybe they have a child in common. There's a lot of turmoil, right? And I get that. But sometimes the argument is, well, I'll ask if they're going to take care of their child. I'll ask, maybe the conversation is more specific. Are you going to do this? Or are you going to do this? Well, usually if you have to ask, you probably already know the answer. Because if someone's going to do something, there's usually a pattern that tells you that they're going to do this particular thing. If they're not, there's a pattern that will tell you that they're not going to do that, right? Something Dr. Phil always says, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. You already know the answer. So sometimes we ask unnecessary questions. So in that example, I would say, ask the real question, right? If there is a question to ask, maybe you already know the answer. I know that you're not going to do this, right? I recognize that you're not going to do this. Evidenced by your behavior, you're not going to do this. This is what I'm going to do, right? Maybe you want to keep that communication open so you don't feel like you're at fault. This is what I'm going to do. And this is what, and if you have any questions, you can let me know. And we can start with the questions. You know, we start taking our power back. Here's another example. You are tired of arguing, but you have just one more question to ask somebody, right? And these relationships where you're tired, you're frustrated, but you really want to stay connected, so you find something else to say. You find something else to do, right? Another example, maybe someone who you know causing maybe some red flags in the relationships. They calling you too much. They're talking too much. They're doing too many things or whatever. But they're also giving you this feel good. You feel needed. You feel wanted. So you're letting them break that boundary. So now you're fluctuating between they're giving me what I need, make me feel good and wanted and needed and all these things. But then they're also breaking boundaries on the other side. Think about how that might cause yourself just some turmoil of how do I deal with this, right? And I just wanted to just throwing out some examples. If you all have some more, drop it in the comments. Let me know, right? Another one is you rely on the messiest folks to help you solve a problem. Sometimes we go to the wrong people to help us solve something that they don't have the capacity, knowledge to help us with. But why do we go to those people? Because they are familiar. Maybe they're funny. Maybe they're witty. So this is the insight I want you to think about. You might be stressed, so you call someone or you contact someone who you know probably don't have the insight to give you anything helpful, but maybe you know that they're going to alleviate that pressure because they're going to say something silly or they're going to validate all of this mess that's going on, right? So you feel good in the moment, but then later on, you don't. And I say sometimes we put Neosporin where we need to put stitches, right? So you calling that friend and you calling that person, you put Neosporin there. Like, no, you need stitches, right? And that person is just adding to that. So sometimes we call the wrong people, right? So one of the things I want you to think about, the resolution to your issues very rarely involves other people. Typically not in the beginning. It doesn't involve other people. Now, unless it's an emergency situation, unless it's something where you need to call 911, yes, you involve someone else. But if it's just discomfort, frustration, maybe it's a mixture between the feel good, but something is off, that's fine. But it rarely involves anyone else in the beginning. I want you to keep that in mind, okay? It rarely involves anyone else in the beginning. Okay? So if you're involving someone, think, wait a minute, am I contributing to my own misery because now I'm involving someone else? All right? So most of our problems, most of our issues, most of our discomfort are emotional that we put into a behavior so that we can feel like we have control over the situation. Just gonna let that sit for a second, okay? Hey, Alicia. So most of our problems that are emotional, right, we put into a behavior so that we can feel in control and we can feel accomplished. So does anyone know what it means if you feel like you want to be in control? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. I want to be in control about 95% of the time. Got it. But I have to know when's a good time to be in control and when to release that control. If we want to be in control too much when we don't want to, we are avoiding vulnerability. We are avoiding vulnerability. So how can we minimize causing our own misery? We need to tap into that vulnerability. So I'm going to tell you how I knew that I was contributing to my own misery. For me, it means I don't inner balance. I don't have inner balance. Yeah. So this is how I knew that I was not contributing, that I was contributing to my own misery, right? This is my evolution, things I started to pay attention to. It's one is I was getting too much advice when I knew the answer. You know, sometimes you already know what you want to do, but you're calling somebody to validate that and hoping someone's going to tell you what you already want to do. I was contributing to my misery because when I did that, I didn't know if my decisions were because of something that I wanted to do and that I was ready for, or if it was because of so-and-so's opinion, right? So I'm already eliminating my opportunity for growth, right? So another thing that I would do is that I would have no idea how I felt emotionally, but I would lean on someone else to tell me how I felt. I was looking for them to tell me what I needed when I had no clue for myself, right? So I was missing that vulnerable part. Remember I was talking about controlling earlier, right? I said, okay, I'm going to release control, but I'm going to give it all to this person. They may not have the capacity to help me either, but I didn't give myself a chance to even evaluate that. Here's another thing that I did that contributed to my misery. Being scared to be by myself. Right? And it wasn't necessarily just being by myself because I was single for a long time. You know, I didn't have kids till my 30s. It wasn't necessarily being by myself. My fear was that me being by myself was going to last too long. I was scared that it was going to last too long, that I was going to either enjoy it or I would get so caught up in being by myself that life would pass me by. So then I would reach out and I would do things or do whatever out of that fear. What if I'm by myself too long, right? I contribute to my misery because then threw my judgment off. And when I made decisions so I can be connected, it had nothing to do with the person. And so then their job inadvertently became keep me connected, keep me feeling good, right? That's how I contribute to my own misery. Let me know if any of that resonate with you. Drop a 1, or if you've done something like that or something triggered in your mind, drop a 1 and let me know. Say, yeah, okay, I remember some patterns that I might be doing that might be contributing to my own unhappiness. So, some things I want you to think about. How do you know if you are contributing to your own misery? All right, I see some ones. How do you know if you are contributing to your own misery? Here's some things I want you to do first. I want you to check in with your body. I want you to check in with your body. It's the hardest thing to do. Why? Because we're used to going. And who's the we? We're the grown women who have a life and we have things to do. We have places to go. We have stuff to take care of. So we're used to going. That's one of the patterns that we have to learn to break. We have to learn to break. If we want that peace, if we want that less stress, if we want that being more intentional in our relationships and with ourselves and our communication and our friendship, we have to first listen to our body. So I want you to first check in with your body. Where am I feeling uneasy in my body? My chest? My back? Some people get stressed, neck pain, shoulder pains. Where do y'all feel your stress? Mine was usually my back pain. My back would hurt. Or I noticed my sleep. I could not stay asleep. That's how I knew that I was stressed. Those two things, usually my back, and then I couldn't stay asleep. But I noticed so now when my body reacts, maybe my mind is still going quickly, but my back is hurting, and I'm thinking, why would my back be hurting? Why am I feeling stressed? Why am I waking up every morning at 3-something in the morning? I know that I need to check in, right, with myself, because now I know that something happens, right? Shoulders, back, lack of sleep. Yep. Now my body has told me, Charisse, there's something you need to pay attention to. When I got really bad, I was going to the doctor all the time for every little thing. Something was always wrong with me. I learned later on it was because of stress. I didn't know at the time, but now I know. When anything like that happens now, it's usually because of stress. Check in with your body. I want you to literally breathe. It sounds so minute and we hear it all the time. But if we're checking in with our body, that means our body needs attention. We need to give it attention. Stop for a second and breathe. If I'm feeling stress and tension in my back, when I'm breathing, I need to be focusing on my back and my shoulders to see, okay, how are you feeling now? You know what you're doing when you do that? You're calming your nervous system. We have to calm our nervous system. If we don't, we can't think. We can't make decisions. And I know our mind is telling us, well, we got to go. We got to go do these things. But I promise you, 5 to 10 minutes is not going to break your day. If it is, you got too much on your plate and we need to look at time management and delegation, right? But 5 to 10 minutes is not going to break your day. To breathe and check in with your body. Just to even know, okay, where do I need to point my next direction to? Then I want you to take some time not involving anyone else. The time may not be able to be that day. I want you to give yourself at least 5 to 10 minutes to breathe and to check in with your body. But then I want you to give yourself some time. If it can't be that day, we're going to be realistic, okay? Maybe it can't be that day, but you need to put in some time to say, I need to check in with me before I check in with anyone else. So let's say today's Wednesday. Maybe I feel something today. Maybe I have something going on where I can't take longer than that 5 to 10 minutes. But let me say, okay, it's Wednesday. Friday, I can. Normally I would do this, but I'm going to take out some time just to myself. I want you to take time to yourself before you check in with anyone else. I don't want anyone to cloud your progress and your process. Don't want anyone to cloud that. Okay? And so if you bring them in too early, they are disrupting your process, and now your information now becomes skewed because someone else is there. Does that make sense? The other thing I want you to do is I want you to change your environment. So when you're taking that downtime, right? Let's say if I decide Friday I want to do something. Typically I'm on the couch watching TV Friday night. Maybe I said, you know what? I'm going to change my routine because I want to learn something different with my body. I want to teach my body something different. I want to see how it feels in a different environment. So instead of me doing my usual Friday night downstairs watching TV, maybe I said, you know what, this Friday, I'm going to take an early shower. If you have a nice spa tub, I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to put my night clothes on, my comfy clothes on a little bit earlier than what I normally do. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to lay down and watch a show that just calms my nervous system down. Now, don't y'all go watching Criminal Minds, Law and Order. I like Law and Order, but no, we want to calm the nervous system, right? TV is not always helpful, but I'm biased because I like Golden Girls. So if I want to calm down, I'm turning on Golden Girls. Don't judge me. That's what I do. But I want you to do something different because you need to see how does my body respond in a different atmosphere if I give it something new. That's what you need to know. Once you do all of that work, remember, we still haven't contacted anybody, right? We haven't involved anybody. Once you do all that work, I want you to check in with your body again. How's my back feel now, right? I took some time to breathe, identify where the problem was. I breathed through it just to calm my nervous system down, right? I took that time for myself. I changed my routine and I changed my environment. Just for that time, my sole purpose is to calm and understand who I am in my nervous system and my body. That's your sole purpose in that moment. Now check in with your body. Tell me how your back feels. Somebody said neck, shoulders. Tell me how that is. How is your sleep? Did you sleep 30 minutes longer? Right? Were you able to fall asleep maybe 30 minutes earlier? How did that work for you? We're not looking for a whole marathon here. We're looking for progress. Did it help? You know what? That did help a little bit. I do feel calmer. This is interesting. If it doesn't work, go back through the steps again and we try something different. You know what? Maybe I need to do the breathing now, and maybe I need to take time now. Maybe I need to use a sick day. Maybe I need to say, hey, can you keep the kids for a few hours? I have some things to do, and your things to do is nothing. Right? Maybe you need to do it a little bit sooner than planning it a couple of days later. You get to decide that. You get to decide what that looks like. You can do it again, and then you check in with your body again. And then once you do all of that, then you decide, do I need to involve anybody in this or not? Am I good? My belly. Somebody said my belly. Yes, we feel it a lot in our stomach. The common things that I hear are my stomach. I hear neck, shoulders area. Of course, our back. Some people get migraine headaches and sleep. Those are the common ones that we hear. So at one point when I didn't know and understand myself, I was like, oh, I must be getting older. I'm just not sleeping anymore. I'm just not sleeping very well anymore. And come to find out, no, sis, you stressed. You need to deal with a situation. So I got some education, right? I got some education about me. And I learned now, if I'm not sleeping very well, there's too much stress going on. What do I need to do about that stress? How can I alleviate? Is it in my mind, pressure? I get to decide those things. I get to do something different. All right. So when we're talking about, are you contributing to your own misery? Right. Am I noticing my body? Am I noticing my breath? Am I noticing my environment? Once you're done with all that, you might say, you know what? I don't even need to call so-and-so anymore. I have all the information that I need. They can't help me with this part. I feel calm now. I feel relaxed. I feel clear-headed. And now I can make decisions about whatever this involves. All right. So I hope this was helpful to you all. Thank you all for joining me.